All right, I'm just going to share with you the simplest way to make beets. A lot of people don't go through the grocery store and pick out beets because they think, oh, they take so long to cook, and maybe they just don't know how to cook them. So this is my telling you how to make cook your beets. So I have beets in my garden, and so when I pull the beets up out of the ground, it comes with a lot of greens, and I just take that and wash it and trim it down. And so I just mainly have the leaf, and then I put those in the fridge till I'm ready to use them. They'll stay for several days, but I just do cook them, and they're delicious. I just use salt and pepper and a little butter. This is an example of the way my beet greens look when they're cooked. Okay, they have the stems in them, but they cook up to be really quite flavorful. And so what I do before I serve them is just cut through them and maybe make a little serving so that you can have, just a piece like that on your plate. It's just a ton of vitamins. So just when you get your beets, don't waste them. Even if you buy them in the store, those greens, look for good greens as well. So when you cook them, you don't cut too deeply. See, I've left on a little bit of the stalk because the beets, you want them to keep their full color, and a lot of the carotenoids are, I'm not that scientific, so whatever the color of the beets is really good for your health. I don't cut into the stem or the root. I just leave that on and put them in the water, cover them with water. I usually cook about 4 beets at a time so that I know I'll use them all, and then boil them for I have a pressure cooker, so the way I boil them is bring it up to heat and just leave them in there and let them cook for about 30 to 40 minutes. The way that you know your beets are done is poke a fork into them. If they're soft, then they're done. And I don't let them get too soft because I don't want to cook out any more of the nutrients than I need to make it. So make it good for me. So this is the way I store them in my fridge. This is the last beet of about 4 different beets that I've used and cut up. And I know that you love getting your hands dirty with this, but it's what it takes. You just need to slide the skin off. And this is a job that takes somebody that doesn't mind a few slippery, slimy things sticking to them. And then I just trim away any of the top where maybe some dirt or anything may have gotten into the root, and anything off the bottom where there might be just a little bit of a hard skin. And then I usually cut them in about 1/3 or 4ths to begin with, and slice it into little bite-sized pieces. Now you can eat your beet this way, or you can season it and make it into a fresh pickled beet. Beets are really quite sweet. Their glycemic index is high, but they're extremely good for your kidney and livers. They're very cleansing. So any way you get them in your diet is good, but I particularly like them this way. But I'm going to pause for just a minute and show you a way to pickle them. Okay, I'm just going to share a quick tip with you about making pickled beets. We've talked about cooking the beets and using the greens, and you store them in the fridge with the peel on, and then when you're ready, you take the peel off and cut them up and put them in a bowl. And to make a quick pickled beet, you don't need to cook them in a steam pressure. It just happens right here in my kitchen in just a few hours. So I cut the beet up, put it in a bigger bowl. This is just a little bit of them that I've got left that have been steeping, but I just cut them up about this size, and maybe 2 or 3 beets, and then pour a couple of tablespoons of maple syrup over it, and a tablespoon or even a teaspoon and a half of this pickling spice, which has the cloves and mustard seed, the coriander and ginger and peppers in it. So it creates such a great spice in it. And then I use this red wine vinegar, which is probably about 2 tablespoons as well. So I don't really have a set recipe in my mind, but a couple of tablespoons of the maple syrup, depending upon how many beets, a couple of tablespoons of the red wine vinegar, and then about a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half of the pickling spice. These taste wonderful. They don't need to steep for very long. Just put them in your fridge, take them out, put them on the side of salad. Beets are naturally high in glycemic index, but they're very good for your kidney and for your liver. They are detoxing. So to use them in your diet just with that little bit of sweetness that enhances it is a way to really apply them to maybe the kids that don't like them, or just to enhance your meals and increase your nutrition.